So there is a regular minute, there's a minute stuck in traffic, there's a minute stuck in conversation with somebody you don't like, then there's a minute stuck on the treadmill without headphones. I just completed 30 of one of those, and man, never again. She's been around, but she's young and clean. I've got to have her, can't live without her, whoa no. Christine 16. Christine 16. I was never a big fan of Kiss growing up, and now I know why. I wasn't missing much here. I didn't think I could top the inappropriate disgustingness of 17 by Winger last week, but look, I did it, apparently. So bravo to me, I guess. We're 16 weeks out, hence the 16 reference. I had to scour for that one. I'm like, this is the only thing that can top last week, so this is what it's got to be. I'm setting a pretty impossible standard for next week. So I'm Darren Starr. I'm here. I'm 16 weeks out. This is my prep log for my journey towards June 8th, 2024 in Chattanooga, Tennessee, Battle at the River. Thank you for joining me here. I am a full-time online contest prep coach, host of the Drop Set podcast, available wherever podcasts are sold. I almost said listened to, streamed, whatever, you know the deal. Go ahead and, if you're not subscribed to the channel already, go ahead. If you like what you see here, give the video a like, comment, any questions throughout. Let me know what's on your mind. Let me know what you want to see more of. I'm trying to incorporate as much of that as possible into these. It's tricky just because usually the stuff that I really want to record, I realize it after it's happened. And you can't recreate a magic moment like that. So I do what I can. I've got some training footage today. From this last week, we'll plug in some of that here periodically, look at the details, the stats, and all that stuff as we dive in. First up, big changes in news. What's happened this week? Weight's been really sluggish moving this week, actually. Digestive system has been a little slow. I'll spare everyone the details there, but I spent a lot of the week trying to think, like, is that part of it here? What's going on? And I think it might be, but it's also to the point where it's like, well, it doesn't really matter because it was a sluggish week, down just a little bit on the scale here. So we've got to step some things up. There are some macro changes coming. As of the time I'm recording this, I don't know what they are yet. I've got to figure them out this afternoon. I'll implement those tomorrow. So we will shift things on a dime pretty quickly. So in between the time that I'm recording this and the time that I edit this, I will figure those out. And so we'll see those numbers later on. It's also worth clarifying here. Like, I've talked with a lot of people and there's kind of like, well, why don't you just, go harder? Like, why don't you just go harder on your cardio or, work in some HIIT or just drop your calories down? And for me, it's like, well, first of all, I'm 16 weeks out. I started prep early, so I don't feel like I'm behind just yet. I'm getting there. But I'm not there just yet. But also it's like, what I'm trying to do is overcome and work past things that have failed me in previous preps, which is going too hard out of the gate. And then, I make it on stage. I hit the weight cap. I'm way under it because I was aggressively dropping 3.5 pounds per week, doing whatever it takes to stay on that rate of loss and just playing the numbers game exclusively. And I made the cap. I look like shit on stage. So, and also it was a miserable experience. It sucked. So what I'm trying to do is kind of thread the needle a little bit and work and be consistent, but like do just enough each week to make sure that I'm ready for the next week. So understanding it is a marathon and not a sprint, and you don't want to tank yourself early on in the process. Like, the biggest goal that I have for this prep is to maintain a high level of training performance throughout the whole thing. If I can do that, I'm going to be happy with the look. The look is more important to me than what happens on stage. Or if I don't make weight, I'll just keep prepping and I'll do a later show. So I've got backup options. I'm not too worried about that. I'm not married to this show. It would be convenient. It's close to home. I like that. I might have to travel a little further away if it ends up being a later show, but cross that bridge when we come to it. I'm certainly not burying the hatchet on this one yet. I think it's still very doable. So I will have to step it up a little bit, and we'll talk about what's in store for the week ahead to make that happen. All right, the numbers. What are we looking at here? So I'll throw the tracker up on screen. I've got it right here. as you can see, a little on the sluggish side here. We're down 0.8 pounds for the week. It's not bad, but if you look at these columns here, and once again, as a recap, it's the date, how many weeks out I am, the weigh-in for each date, the average for the 7 days leading into that Sunday. That's when I do the average. The drop of that week compared to the previous week, how many pounds away I am from the cap, which is 209 for my height class in Classic Physique, and then how many pounds per week I need to drop in order to hit that cap on show day. Understanding, yes, there'll be some water loss. I'm not really counting on that. Like I would like to go into weigh-ins with no anxiety, understanding that, yeah, I got this, rather than like, well, I hope I can drop enough water throughout the day. Like that's just gonna make you look bad, realistically. So you can see the rate of loss this week that I need going forward has gone up. So a slow week will cause a spike in that number, meaning that I have to be a little bit more aggressive now going forward. So cardio, you can see I doubled it this last week. I started doing 30 minutes every single day, twice a day, so an hour a day. It is not super high intensity. It is pretty lazy. The last couple of days, I have started stepping it up just a little bit. Like I've increased the treadmill from like 3 to 3.2, 3.3, something like that. So I'm still not going crazy on the incline or anything like that. I'm huffing and puffing. You know, the treadmill stuff is post-workout, so I'm already tired anyway. And then my watch is still a non-factor here, but every one of these days has a 30-minute walk with Taz thrown in there as well. So it's really like 90 minutes of cardio / activity. Workouts are in there. Quality, I would give today's, I printed out this, I did a screen grab on this tracker before legs today. I'd give that one a 10. It was nuts. Made some big PRs on things. So performance is still there. Like I'm still excited to get to the gym, excited to work through it. Aside from yesterday when I almost got into a fight, which I've been in gyms for 25 years. I've never really had an incident with anybody on the gym floor until yesterday, which tells me it's not me, it's him. This guy had made up his mind well before he ever got near me that for whatever reason, he hated me. And he came at me and he was like, it was not pleasant. Safe to say, these hands have never been in a fight, and that holds true today. So I would not. My whole goal is to look intimidating enough so that I don't get into a fight. This guy was not intimidated, even though I had 70 pounds on him. And even with zero skills, I feel like I probably could have taken him. He didn't look like he was a jiu-jitsu guy or anything. So anyway, point being, it didn't come to that. It almost did. And if I see him again, it may still. So it was unresolved. Let's just say that. I don't need gym drama. And this guy, like, I don't know what his deal was, but he had some problems. So as you can see, just going by the numbers, I felt like, if you look back on February 11th, that was last Sunday, that was check-in day, 239.6, good drop. That was coming off of a low carb day. So I'm like, oh, okay, I feel good about this. Awesome. And then it went right back up, and then it kind of hung around that same range within a few tenths for the whole week. And that's where I'm like, I could feel like my stomach was just a little bit off, not to the point where it's like, oh God, I've got a problem. I got to do something about this. But, increase fiber a little bit, and just focus on, more fluids, etc. And I feel like that's largely resolved now. The scale is down this morning. This morning? That's yesterday. What was today? I don't remember. I took it. It was around that, whatever it was. Now it's making me wonder, am I off a day here or something? I don't know. Something happened here. I think I just forgot to plug it in this morning, although I remember doing it. Maybe I screen grabbed this before that. I don't remember. I'm just thinking like, is this a sign of where things are going or what? I don't know. So I feel like part of me wants to say like, let's just sit on this for another 2 or 3 days and wait and see what happens. The other part of me says, we're going to have to make a move sooner or later, so why not just do it now? Because there's nothing to be harmed by like dropping some dietary fats, which is probably what I'm going to do to start off here. So that's where we're at on the quantitative / numerical side of things. Okay, the feels, qualitative stuff. How am I feeling? I feel great, honestly. I'm sleeping really well. Appetite is present, but super controlled. I am still eating a good bit. Training has been great. Fatigue is very well managed. Here is the video for this week on how I'm looking. I had to change locations just because it was like 20-something degrees when it was time to take pics yesterday, and I'm just not doing that. I've done that in the past where I set up a little space heater outside just so that I can continue to take my pics and video outside, but I'm like, screw it. So I think I'll probably just stay inside from now on because I do want consistency with it. I feel like the quality is better outside, but I feel like this is okay. Again, it's like I look at these, I'm like, I don't know, still fat, maybe a little less so. I feel tighter. I feel significantly tighter. So significantly tighter than a 0.8 pound loss for the week would have you think. So that's definitely way under the expected or ideal rate of change as far as drops for the week, but I feel good. So I don't have any concerns about that. Whether or not things look great is another question, but also I know that until we're in that like 10 to 12 weeks out, like there's still too much too much marble left on the sculpture. Like you got to keep chipping away before you can really see the form of what's starting to take shape. So I'm thinking like at around the 12-week mark, I'll have a little bit better idea there. It's still certainly not going to be finished by any stretch of the imagination, but at that point, you know, to take the sculpture analogy a little bit further, I will know if the sculpture is going to end up looking like a human or an alligator or a hummingbird. Like it will have some form at least, so I will know what I'm getting into. Okay, next steps. What's the plan for the week ahead? What are my priorities? Like I said, after I finish this video, I need to figure out what my macros are going to be. We'll implement those tomorrow. I'm thinking a significant drop in dietary fats because I have them to play with, and probably a smaller drop in dietary carbs. Might make the rest day suck a little bit more just to pull down a little bit harder there on places where I don't need it. Understanding still 16 weeks, still a long way to go. So I still want to leave some headroom for additional changes down the road. So whatever those numbers are, I will put them up on screen now. So there they are. That's what I ended up with. Trying to speculate, like, how can I pretend like I'm reading the future here? I don't know. But like I said, I'm suspecting fats will probably come down by 30-ish grams or so, and carbs maybe only by about that much, so not as significant of a drop to carbs. I did do grocery shopping for the week ahead of time, kind of anticipating, that was yesterday I did that, kind of anticipating what my potential changes were going to end up being. I actually meant to get everything set up with my macro changes yesterday for the week ahead, but I just ran out of time and couldn't do it. So there's a lot of weird stuff going on. We did have a party that we were hosting here last night, and this was my first real social event of prep. We were just hosting 3 friends here. My wife made some soy chorizo taco things that honestly looked super, super good. Like she took this pan of potatoes and peppers and stuck it in the oven and then pulled it out and put like the soy chorizo and black beans on top of that and made this big scoopable thing that you could stuff into tortilla and then put like cheese and olives and other stuff on. And it looked great. I did not have any of it because frankly, I wasn't going to play the macro game. I probably could have made it work, some portion of it, but it's just like, I just don't want to mess with it. And so everybody sat down to eat around 6:30 or so, and I sat down with some water and just talked, etc. They're like, why aren't you eating? I'm like, it's not time yet. My meal's at 8. And I'm not super hungry yet. I'm going to wait. And just so at 8, I had my normal thing. And you know, when you're at your own house hosting, it's like nobody gives a shit what you do. It's like, and if they do, like, you're in my house. You just be okay with it. And it was fine. It was fine. So it looked really good. But I abstained, didn't have anything, had the usual stuff, normal day on plan. Things to watch for, priorities for the week ahead, etc., possible issues. Nothing jumps out at me. The following week, there will be a meal that's going to be off-plan-ish. I'll get into that with next week's update. For this week ahead, though, nothing on the horizon. It should be a pretty boring week. I'm anticipating some big results. I'm anticipating being a little bit more tired. I'm anticipating receiving some clenbuterol and starting that. Very low dose, just to get a little bit of an extra boost going as far as introducing a fat loss agent. So still on the yohimbine, that's been in for a week and a half now, something like that. And I've been doing good on the morning supplements and not forgetting that also. The whole thing I showed last week about dumping the container on the desk has been continuing to work, so I haven't missed a day yet. So. All right, new section, Q&A. So if you have questions for this, go ahead and leave them in the comments below, and I will answer what I can. This one did not come from a comment, but from somebody else, a client who was curious and was asking me some questions. And they said, what are you doing for cheat meals or refeeds? And the answer is no, I'm not. So, and this is also a chance for me to give you a little insight into my process and also just, just give you some knowledge about prep in general. So, a good prep is probably one that does not have a cheat meal in it. And that's my goal here. So there might be something off plan that happens, but it's going to be strategized and it's going to have a purpose behind it. But just a random, like a lot of people are like, I need my weekly cheat meal on prep. And I can guarantee you that always produces a worse result, always without fail. Point being, like, your body doesn't need a cheat meal. Your brain might want one. But what you need to do, and this is what I've done, because I've not always done this in the past. I have been that guy before who felt like I needed a cheat meal every week on prep, and it killed me. I mean, it just destroyed my progress, and it shows on stage. So for me, the secret is remembering that you are choosing to do this. It's a voluntary process, and just don't get stressed out about the diet. Like, yeah, it's going to be hard. That's fine. The challenge is part of why we do this. And so, like, don't get fixated on stuff that you can't eat. Just understand that whatever you want, it's going to be there later too. So just whatever. You don't need a burger and fries every week. You don't need pizza every week. You don't need sushi every week. You don't need them any week, realistically. Now, there may come a time during prep where you do need a refeed, but there's got to be a good reason for that. And it's really to try and overcome, in the short term, some metabolic adaptations that happen during prep. But the thing is, like, it should be a refeed, assuming that you can keep your brain in check regarding the need, quote unquote, for a cheat meal. If you can get your brain unprogrammed for that and just say, like, and realize that, hey, if I need something, it's probably better if it's measured out. And it might be more than a day. You might need like a 3 or a 4 day refeed that's maybe a little bit more moderate. So what you're looking to do there is combat fatigue, combat declining training performance, understanding that you're going to be removing some fat loss days from the equation and eating it closer to maintenance or maybe a little north of maintenance even. But what you're not doing is going out and having just a giant binge cheat meal, which brings nothing positive to the table and really only messes things up. And I know people are saying, they're going to have all kinds of stories. Well, Darren, you're wrong, because I was on prep before and I was stuck and then I had a cheat meal and my weight stopped dropping. Right. And the reason that happens is because you're experiencing a cortisol-driven plateau because you were stressed out about your diet, which goes back to my first point, which is just accept the diet and don't get stressed about it. It sucks at times. Sure, that's fine. Let it suck. It's okay. And just process that and let it flow on out of your brain. Stop getting fixated on food. I find that people who do macro dieting during prep are often worse with this because they try to work in, different stuff every day to keep their palate satiated, when really it just needs to be something that's on autopilot. You're not putting the time and effort into tracking your food. It's all pre-planned for you. So yes, a solid meal plan is better. Again, I work myself via macros, but I use those macros to come up with a plan that I just repeat. And so doing that, it allows me to go on autopilot and just not have to worry about my diet. So I don't think about it. If I'm not eating, I'm not thinking about food. That's it. I'm not logging things. I'm not tracking things. It's already been logged once. I don't need to relog it every day. So you remove the level of fixation that you apply towards food. You give it less importance in your life, understanding that it's hugely determinative for your outcome, but you just don't have to spend as much time thinking about it. That's my goal. That's my approach. So I'm going to try and make it without a cheat meal. I'm not saying that I won't falter and fuck up. It's entirely possible I will at some point. But right now I feel good. It's 6 weeks in. And again, I haven't really been pushed on the diet. So, feel free to throw this back in my face in 8 weeks when I sit here looking like a malnourished hostage. And we'll see how things go. So that's it for this week. So next week we'll check in at 15 weeks out, see how things are looking. Once again, if you got some value out of this, like the video, leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts, questions for the Q&A section. Always appreciated. Subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, share this with your friends if they're interested in some real talk on prep logs. And check out my podcast, The Drop Set. It's on all platforms that host podcasts. I have posted 245 episodes, I think, with more to come. So check me out there. You can also check out the website, 5starphysique.com, if you want to read about my coaching offerings, workout programs, other stuff that I have available as well. So that's all I've got. So thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. Peace out.